In the face of incredible worldwide propaganda about Israeli settlers building illegally on Palestinian land in the West Bank, the Arabs who live in Judea and Samaria are quietly building an actual village on a Judeo-Christian heritage site. This is not only dangerous, but it has the potential to completely erase one of the most significant archaeological finds in all of Israel. This is breaking news, and it's something that's happening right now as we speak. An incredibly significant biblical site in Israel's very heartland is in danger of being completely erased. I'm Luke, and this is the Israel Guys. Hello and welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of anti-Israel propaganda and Jew hatred, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Guys, make sure to subscribe here on YouTube, hit that notification bell, and let me know down in the comments if you are a new viewer, or subscribe on whatever platform you are watching or listening on. We're coming to you every single day of every single week. There is breaking news from the land of Israel, and that is the Palestinian Authority, Palestinian Arabs in Judea and Samaria, are in the process of building 32 homes, as in a new neighborhood, at a biblical heritage site, an Israeli heritage site in maybe one of the most important archaeological sites in all of Judea and Samaria, very important site in all of Israel. And they are intentionally building a new neighborhood, not as an expansion of an existing village or town, but in a completely random spot on the top of Mount Ebal, at the site of Joshua's altar, where Joshua built the altar, and the 6 tribes stood on each mountain, Mount of Blessing, Mount of cursing, facing each other after they came into the land of Israel. And now the Arabs of Judea and Samaria are threatening to destroy this very heritage site by building a new town exactly on top of the site. Not close, not nearby, not as an expansion of an existing neighborhood, but exactly on top of the site. I want to introduce Aaron Lipkin from Lipkin Tours, one of the only tour companies that brings people to Judea and Samaria, this side of the Green Line, but also a lover of archaeology, history, and the Bible. You've been in many of our videos, been in the I Am Israel films, which so many people have seen. But 2 years ago, you were on one of the Israel Guys programs with Joshua Waller, reporting about how Palestinian Arabs had taken stones from the perimeter wall around the site of Joshua's altar to build a new road that was being constructed nearby. And just last week, you and I were up at the site of Joshua's altar and got to experience something absolutely historical, and that is the Torah portion being read from a Torah scroll at the side of the altar, and which hasn't happened in more than 3,000 years. So that was incredible. But while we were up there, there was something interesting that you noticed, and it was a new dirt road that had been plowed from an existing asphalt road to the site of Joshua's altar. And at the time, we weren't sure what it was. We thought maybe it's something that Israel is doing, or the archaeological group that's working in the site is doing to create better access. But took some photos of it. Come to find out, something much more, we could say, sinister is happening there. Tell us, first of all, we'll get into the actual site and the significance of Joshua's altar, but just tell us, first of all, what is happening. Because, and I want to preface, too, this is not even in the media yet. It's in some of the Israeli media, the Hebrew media, but it's barely even in the English media coming out of Israel. So what's happening there right now?
I've been talking about Joshua's altar for the past decade, lecturing about it in churches and synagogues all over the world, because, believe it or not, this is probably the most important biblical site in the land of Israel, yet so many Israelis and also Bible believers all over the world don't know about it or never visited it. So this is really a site that is very close to my heart, and I really care about it. And what I've been seeing in the past decade is a gradual attack by the Palestinians at this specific site. Now, I have to say, I'm dealing with archaeology in the area, and there has been a lot of robbery going on around a lot of archaeological sites all over Judea and Samaria, especially in the last 2 years and during COVID. But it seems like that the motive of that robbery is financial. People are looking for findings that are expensive to sell them and make a living. This is different. We have usually an Arab village. When an Arab village grows, there's a nucleus and they build out. So it grows and grows and grows. What we have here is an Arab Palestinian initiative to build. It's not even a suburb. It's not an expansion. It's a new village because the distance between Joshua's altar and the compound to the village of Asira, Shimalia, and Askal is several miles.
Those would be the closest Arab
villages,
towns.
right? And the work that we're talking about is being done by Asira Ashimalia, the northern Asira, and there's really no justification for building there aside from a clear intent to totally erase history, to totally erase the biblical significance of this site. And, as you said, last week, we went with my father, Avi Lipkin. We brought a Torah scroll. We had 30 Israelis with us. We were about to do a reading of Deuteronomy 27 and Joshua 8, where the Bible talks about the building of a stone altar on Mount Ebal. And as we approach the altar, suddenly we see this white rubble road leading from the asphalt road that was paved a few years ago straight into the compound wall. This is something that I've never seen before. And if you remember, I immediately said, what is this road? Where did it come from? And, after we did the Torah reading, we took videos of this and we sent it to the authorities. And boom, now it's all over the news. Nobody knew about this before we took the videos of that road. And so this is if 2 years ago an Arab construction worker took stones from the perimeter wall of this ancient site to make gravel for the nearby road, you could say he didn't know, he wasn't aware that this is an archaeological site. This could be a good excuse. However, there's no excuse now. Everybody knows this is an archaeological site. But furthermore, this road that we discovered is the road that is planned for the new village. This is the access road to the village itself.
And how do we know that they're actually, is there evidence or a record of them planning to build these new homes?
So just 2 years ago, the programs of the construction leaked from the local municipality of Asira Shimalia and were published all over the news in Israel. We have maps, we have a very detailed description of where the houses are going to be built. And when you're looking at the map, and our viewers can see the map as we speak, you can see that the houses are built specifically on the altar compound. Not nearby or anything like that, on the altar compound itself.
And I want to emphasize too, because we've been up there many times. Both of us have been there many times. Har Ebal, the mountain of Ebal, is a very big mountain, and it's very wide open. It's a lot of open space. There's not other villages around, Israeli or Arab, anywhere close to the side of the altar, but there is a lot of very open space. So we know for sure that if the Arabs are going to build a new town there and they're building at the side of the altar, that it is intentional. It's not just that they randomly landed on the best spot to build a town.
Exactly.
Right?
And the question is why? Why are they doing this? People outside of Israel might say, why are the Palestinians planning this? What's the motive? And if you're looking at what's happening now, the Palestinian Authority just submitted to the UN a list of, I believe, 15 archaeological sites. Many of them are biblical, like Jericho, like the ancient capital of the Northern Kingdom, Shomron, Samaria, to be announced as Palestinian heritage sites. There's no connection whatsoever between these sites and the Palestinian national identity. what's going on here? Why are they doing this? And the answer is very clear. The justification for the presence of the Jewish people here in the land of Israel, the justification for the establishment of the state of Israel, is our long-standing connection to this land that is written in the Bible. And if you take these sites away, if you destroy them, if you harm them, if you take them away and prevent Jews and Christians from visiting these sites, you're basically weakening the connection between Jews and Christians to this land, and specifically to Judea and Samaria. So there is an ongoing attempt by the Palestinians, but I believe there are bigger organizations behind the Palestinians, not just the European Union, but there's also a lot of left-wing Christian and Jewish progressive organizations that are behind this and are pushing this. And we have this is important. This is the time to stand up and resist, because one of my nightmares is that I will wake up even tomorrow and Joshua's altar is gone because it was bulldozed, and no one's there to stop it. There's no guard. There are no Israeli soldiers. There's barely any cameras directed at the site, and it's really, the site is really under high risk. And we have to do whatever we can now to stop it.
Here in Israel, everyone is excited and getting ready for the high holiday season that marks the beginning of the new Jewish year. And now you can tap into the excitement with the exclusive 2024 Israel 365 calendar. With this unique calendar, you'll get 16 months of stunning photos capturing the beauty of Israel, a calendar that seamlessly blends the Hebrew and Gregorian calendars and the popular Jewish holiday guide. New this year, each month offers an opportunity to learn Hebrew, the language of the Bible. Learn essential words from the Bible and their translations and transliterations. This calendar will bring faith, Hebrew, prophecy, the Bible, and the land of Israel into your home for 16 months starting in September 2023, that's right now, and concluding in December 2024. This calendar is also an incredible way to share prophecy and the beauty of the land of Israel with your loved ones. What a great gift idea. Don't miss this opportunity to elevate your life 365 days a year. Order your 2024 Israel 365 calendar today and embark on a journey of connection to the land and people of Israel that will last all year long. Order your calendar now. Use the link in the description below. And even though the site was discovered, let's say maybe 30 years ago, something, it's still a site that is largely unexcavated, right? Like we could say it's still in the beginning stages of archaeologists even discovering and learning about the site, right?
Correct. Since 1989, archaeological research has ceased. There's so much more to research in that site. Just in 2019, we found a small lead tablet with a curse, a Hebrew curse inscription on it. Who knows if there are any more tablets there or any other types of writing or documents that we might find there. But unfortunately, because the site is no longer under Israeli control since the Oslo agreement in the 1990s, no one continued the research, and we are risking losing all the treasures, the biblical treasures that are waiting there for archaeologists to find.
I want to talk about the lead tablet because it's so incredibly significant, and we have a personal connection to that discovery. But also, let's give a real quick overview of, because I want people to understand, why is the site of Joshua's altar so significant for Jews and for Christians, anybody that reads and believes in the Bible?
There's rarely cases where we read the Bible and we read about a structure or a building that is commanded to be built in the Bible, and then we can go to the field and actually see it, because the stories that we're talking about are happening in the time of Moses, the time of Joshua, the time of the Judges. This is 3,300 years ago. When we read the book of Deuteronomy, Moses commands the Israelites upon entry to the land to build a stone altar on Mount Ebal as part of a bigger national ceremony of blessings and curses in Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal. Mount Gerizim is the mountain of blessing that we are on right now, and Mount Ebal is the mountain of curse. And so the commandment to build an altar is very specific. The location is also very specific on Mount Ebal. And for centuries, people have been looking for this altar. And in 1982, out of all the people, a young atheist Israeli archaeologist by the name of Adam Zertal stumbles upon an ancient site. He excavates it until 1989, and he discovers Joshua's altar, the altar that Moses commanded. I'm reading from Deuteronomy 27. You shall build an altar there to the Lord your God. It shall be an altar of stones on which you shall use no tool of iron. And the commandment is to build it on Mount Ebal. And then you're standing there and you're seeing this enormous barbecue stand that the Israelites built 3,400 years ago, and it's still there. So this is probably the most important biblical site, and it wasn't just commanded by Moses; it was built by Joshua, as described in Joshua chapter 8. So that we actually have two scriptures talking specifically about this altar. And the interesting thing is that the archaeology is telling us that the site was in use for about 70 years after its establishment. So this was really the first temple of the Israelites after the building of Joshua's altar.
Meaning that the children of Israel, so we know the story, the children of Israel come into the land, Joshua leads them here, they build the altar, they have 6 tribes on Mount Ebal, 6 tribes on Mount Gerizim, they read the blessings and the curses, everyone answers, that they answer amen, that they agree to the words of the covenant that God's giving them. Many people say, like, this is where the children of Israel were married to the land, right? But then it's a while before the tabernacle is set up in Shiloh, right? So this would have been like the central place of worship.
Correct.
Is that what we're saying?
Correct.
So it's here at Joshua's altar, then eventually it goes to Shiloh, and then eventually, obviously, it's in Jerusalem.
Right.
But you mentioned the lead tablet a minute ago, and it's funny because we've been meaning to make an actual story on this because this was international headlines. This is like earth shaking news that came out about this discovery that I would imagine archaeologists all over the world are interested in it because it's so significant. And unbeknownst to everyone, we're the ones that actually pulled this tablet out of the site of Joshua's altar. We didn't actually discover it, so we can't take too much credit, but we were able to take a pile that had been discarded, right? Put it into buckets, take it out to an actual sifting site, and archaeologists were able to sift through it. Tell us what they discovered and why it is so significant for the archological world.
Okay, it's important to know we didn't do any archaeological work there. We
Correct,
didn't excavate. The point was that in the 1980s, they didn't use technologies we use today. So the idea was to take the archaeological dump from the 1980s that was already analyzed by Adam Zertal and reanalyze it. So what we did was basically we relocated some of the archaeological dump to a nearby location, and Dr. Scott Stripling from the Associates of Biblical Research came with his crew, and what they did was they used new techniques to go through that material. And after a few days, they stumbled upon this small lead tablet. It's about 1 inch by 1 inch. It's really small. It's a folded piece of lead. This artifact was sent to be analyzed, and the results came in, and it has ancient Hebrew inscription inside the folded tablet and outside. Dr. Scott Stripling came out on a press conference talking about the inscription that was found. There is a terrible curse in Hebrew, and it mentions the name of the Hebrew God, Hashem, YHW. I can't say the name. And just 3 months ago, a peer-reviewed article in Science Heritage was published about the inscription inside. As we speak, there are more scientists working on the inscription outside, and there's going to be another peer-reviewed article next year talking about the same inscription. So, all in all, we have the oldest Hebrew inscription that was ever found in the land of Israel. It was found at Joshua's altar, and it carries God's name on it.
And it also predates any other finds, right? By how many, like a significant number of years?
So it's because it's metal, it's a bit hard to date the artifact. But according to the metal itself that was quarried from Greece, from quarries in Lavrion, which were in operation at the late Bronze, early Iron Age period, around the year 1400, 1300 BC. And according to the shape of the letters, we're able to see that the lead tablet itself comes from around the year 1500, 1400, 1300 BC. And this is indeed the earliest Hebrew inscription that was ever found in the land of Israel. And the question is there a coincidence that we found a curse inscription on the mountain of curse? But that's a whole different topic for a different time.
I guess the point is that this is an incredibly significant find for anybody that believes the Bible, and archaeologists, historians. But this was a find that came out of something from more than 30 years ago that archaeologists had already excavated. There's more of this pile that needs to be gone through and sifted, and archaeologists need to do much more work. There's potentially many more significant finds waiting at Joshua's altar. Correct?
Look, and my dream is to continue the research and the excavation in this site. Like you say, if this is the first temple of the Israelites, there was priesthood there. There was writing. There's probably more text hiding beneath the ground, the soil. We need to continue research it, and the site is in danger now.
So when we're talking about Palestinian Arabs that are building, their municipality is building a new neighborhood on top of the site, the heritage site of Joshua's altar. We're talking about history, the Bible, Judaism, Christianity, a heritage site that is in danger of being completely erased.
Right, and the municipal the municipal responsibility in the area is of the Palestinians, but Israel is overseeing the area in general security-wise, and what needs to be done is to establish a physical presence of soldiers or representatives of Israel in the site 24/7, because this is the only thing that's going to prevent possible damage to the site. And this is what we need now. We need people to step up all over the world, people that care about the Bible, people that care about the archaeology of Israel, the connection between archaeology and Bible and between Christianity and Judaism to the land of Israel. We need people to step up and say enough is enough. Israel needs to take responsibility over the site.
Because this is a heritage site. And I was thinking kind of as an aside, because obviously we're believers in the Bible, right? And that is the biggest reason why this is important for us. But it shouldn't really matter whether you're Jewish, Christian, secular even, or an archaeologist or historian, whether you're even Muslim. This should be this is an important site and should be protected by anybody.
Correct.
It should be something that anybody cares about because it's an archaeological, historic, biblical, it's a heritage site. I just want to read a couple of things that are going on in Israel right now regarding the site. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, he said back in January, I believe, of this year that he would not allow anybody, Palestinians, to damage the site, and that he had instructed the IDF to regularly patrol there. Obviously, that doesn't seem like it's been happening. We know that there is now a regular road that runs right beside the site, so that there's a lot of Palestinian vehicles, and there's a lot of traffic that's going close to the site. And now, as of last week, there's a road that's been plowed directly to the side of the altar. We know from the Arab municipalities that they're building a new neighborhood now there. Moshe Gutman, who is chairman of the Keepers of the Eternal, which is a coalition of organizations for the protection, preservation, and development of antiquities and heritage sites in Judea and Samaria. I want to read a quote from him. He said, The Palestinians recognized Israel's weakness, and it was decided to destroy Israel's most valuable heritage asset in Samaria. If the country does not come to its senses now, the altar and its surroundings will be destroyed and lost forever. I call on the Prime Minister and ministers of the Israeli government to address the issue immediately. So 2 things I want to ask you. One, how is this just a problem that's happening, or is this something that's very urgent, that's actually in danger of being erased within a matter of weeks or months? That's the first question. And the second question is, what can we do? What can we do about it? What can people do to get involved?
I believe that the danger of destruction for the site is imminent. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen in 2 days. It doesn't matter how many patrols the Israeli army is doing there. If I'm a Palestinian and I have a bulldozer, it would only take me 2 minutes to destroy the site. Too fast for an army unit to come and stop me. This is how imminent this is. We're seeing the Palestinian attempts in the last 2 or 3 days to take over archaeological sites. This is not a coincidence. This is all happening now. And myself and other activists like Moshe Gutman believe that the danger is imminent. It could be any day now, and we have to stop it now, immediately. The only solution is for permanent physical presence of Israeli soldiers or government representatives in the site 24/7. Nothing else will suffice. And in order to do that, we need to make the Israeli government understand how important this is. Now, we Israelis can shout a lot and try to pressure the Israeli government, but we need to see the Jews and Christians living outside of Israel to join in this battle. We have to make the Israeli government understand that the altar of Joshua is not an internal Israeli issue. This is something that every Christian and Jew all over the world cares about. And what I'm asking our viewers to do, we're going to have several links down at the description of this video. If you can write to your senator, congressman, or if you're living outside of the United States, anywhere you are, write to your local politicians and tell them how important this site is and how worried you are that this site will be destroyed because of the Palestinian attempts to build a village. Ask them to do something, to write to the government, the local government, to write to connect with the Israeli government, with Netanyahu, with Yoav Gallant, the Minister of Defense. Try to reach out to your local politicians. That's number one. Number two. If people can write directly to Benjamin Netanyahu's office and to the Minister of Defense, Yoav Gallant, we're also going to have the links and emails and all this in the description of this video. And thirdly, we're going to have a petition, and we're asking rabbis and pastors to reach out to this petition and sign it to show their great concern to this biblical site and what the Palestinians are doing. I truly hope that if we do all of these things, and also other things that we're doing on a daily basis here in Israel, hopefully we will see this site saved.
Aaron, thank you so much for being here and providing insight on what's actually happening here in Israel's very heartland. Guys, we're going to have as much information as well as links, contact information in the description below so that you can get involved. And everyone that can, whether you can make a phone call, write an email, sign a petition, write to your local representatives, or just write to encourage the Israeli government to protect a heritage site, one of the most important heritage sites in all of Israel. Let us know, guys, how you did manage to get involved down in the comment section below. As always, tune out the fake news and tune into what is actually happening here in the land of Israel. We're here every single day, Monday through Friday, with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.